Hi guys, it's Grace, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. So it's a little bit past mid-year now, I guess, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Last year I did the mid-year book freakout tag, and I'm doing it again this year because it was really fun, and I think it's a good way to track your reading goals right around the middle of the year. I'm sorry if you can hear my fan in the background, but our AC is broken currently, so just doing the best with what I've got. It is so hot in here. Also, I look so tired. It pretty much sums up how the past few months have been going, honestly. Yeah, it's been a while since I've sat down and made a video. I haven't been reading a ton. Early this year, I have been reading a lot for school, so I wasn't reading a lot for fun. Then COVID happened, and I haven't been very motivated to do much of anything. Reading's been sitting on the back burner for me, for sure. But the past couple weeks, I've been kind of getting more into reading again and picking up more books that I really enjoy, and hopefully I can keep it up. There's going to be a couple books that I mention more than once just because I honestly have not been reading enough to have a different book for each challenge. So that's kind of pathetic, but here we are. I'm hoping that the second half of 2020 I will be a lot better with reading, and hopefully my wrap-up will be more interesting than this, but regardless, I hope you guys enjoy my 2020 mid-year book freakout tag. Question number 1. What is the best book of 2020 so far? And for that, I have this lovely book, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in the Crescent City series. I'm not sure how many books there will be in this series, but regardless, I am so thrilled for them to come out. I don't think they're going to be coming out for quite a while, but hopefully I can hold out. This book was so amazing. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was the book I needed because I was in a horrible reading slump, and I was just needed something to get me revitalized and get me back into reading. This book follows Bryce Quinlan after some of her friends are murdered, as she is trying to find the killer and going on this amazing murder mystery adventure thing with a wonderful sidekick named Hunt. You'll hear plenty more about this book later, I'm sure, but I just like any Sarah J. Maas book. It was full of some lovely steamy moments, as well as a beautiful slow burn romance that just had me like wanting to tear my hair out because the sexual tension was real. Also, it was just a wonderful plot, and I could not get over it, and I could not put this book down, except for one point where I had to put it down because I thought I was gonna die. No, we'll talk about that later. Number 2, what is the best sequel you've read so far? And for that, I'm going to say Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I haven't read a ton of sequels this year. I think there's like 1 or 2 on there. Ooh, they're so shiny. This was so good. I loved this duology so much. It was so magical and whimsical and fun, and just another book I needed during this time. I picked it up because it was so, like, the first book was so lighthearted and just like heartwarming and wonderful and magical, and it made me very happy. This one was just as good as the first one, and I just loved it so much. These books will hold a special place in my heart forever. Question number 3, what is a 2020 new release you need to get to? And for this, I have 2 that I'm really excited about. The first is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, and the second is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Both of them sound very exciting and are by authors that I hold very near and dear to my heart. So I'm very excited to get to both of those books. I don't know if I'll get to them this year, but I really hope I do. And then kind of to go along with that is question number 4. What is the most anticipated release for the rest of the year? And for that, I have The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare. Apparently we're just over here praising Cassandra Clare in this video. I mean, are we surprised? No. Anyway, it is a new book following Magnus and Alec, I believe, so that's really all I need to know. I'm here for it. I love them both. I can't wait to read about them. I actually don't know a lot about this book. I basically just know that I'm excited about it, and it has Cassandra Clare's name on it, so that's all I need. Question number 5. What is the biggest disappointment of the year so far? And most of the books I've read for fun this year actually have been really wonderful, and I really enjoyed them. So for this one, I'm just gonna say any book I read for school was a little bit of a disappointment, unfortunately. There were a couple that were just kind of like, I don't know, they were not horrible, they weren't great, but a lot of the books I read for school this year I just did not like. Number 6 is what has been the biggest surprise of the year, and for this one I'm going to go with A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I have seen this book pop up a lot on booktube, especially like a little while ago, and I finally decided to pick it up based on booktube recommendations, but I wasn't really expecting a whole lot out of it. I was just like, oh, this might be good, you know, we'll pick it up. It was on Book Outlet, it's cheap, give it a try. And then I read it, and it was one of the books I was reading towards the end of my reading slump, and it was one of the books that kind of pulled me out of it. I was very impressed by this. It kept moving very quickly, it was fast-paced, the characters were very lovable. I really enjoyed it, and the premise was very interesting. It kind of reminded me of Beauty and the Beast a little bit, so I'm not sure if it's like supposed to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling or anything, but it was lovely, and I really enjoyed reading it. I'm now reading the second book following this one, and really liking that one as well, so hopefully it will be just as awesome. And number 7 to go along with that is who is your favorite new author? And I'm gonna go with Bridget Kemmerer for this one. I haven't read a whole lot of new authors this year besides my school books, and obviously I wasn't that impressed with those, so I'm gonna give that slot to her. I really have enjoyed her writing style so far, so I'm really excited to read more books by her in the future. Number 8 is who's your newest fictional crush? And for this one, I'm gonna have to go with Hunt from House of Earth and Blood. I'm sure no one is surprised. Sarah J. Maas just writes some real steamy male characters, and they always take over my whole mind, body, and soul and heart. Yeah. I'm a little concerned because Sarah J. Maas has a habit of taking male characters, making them seem really likable in the first book, and then later on in the series you're like, oh, they're not that great. So I really hope she doesn't do this, and I didn't just proclaim my love for Hunt in this video and then have him turn out to be some jerk that everyone hates in the second book or something. You know, not like that has ever happened before. If you know, you know. Hunt, he's a sassy man. Number 9 is favorite new fictional character, and for that I'm going with Laszlo Strange from Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. He's just so wonderful. He's so relatable. I could relate to Laszlo. I was like, me too, bud, me too. Like, he's just so innocent and sweet and kind and a bookworm, and I love him, and he's like, oh yes, fictional worlds. This book follows Laszlo, who is a librarian, and he has always been fascinated with this lost city called Weep. And then he has to go on this wonderful, whimsical journey to go find the lost city of Weep and help with this crazy problem. Yes, that is all. It's so amazing. Laszlo's wonderful. This is probably on my list of all-time favorites now. Wonderful, and Laszlo is just a sweetheart. He just wins your whole heart over. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. I'm like really ashamed of this, but this book is on here again. So, yeah, this was the only book this year that made me cry. I was really trying not to include this book for half the questions, but here we are. There were parts of this book that were just so utterly heart-wrenching that I was just in tears, or almost in tears. She was just like, yeah, you know, your heart, yeah, we're just gonna drag it along behind us, and just like, it'll just be bouncing along back there, and just hope for the best. Like, I hope you're okay after this book, but if you're not, oh well. There are so many just powerful moments, and the grief is just so like raw and real in this book, and just what the characters have to go through in a few different points. So yes, this book did make me cry. And I don't cry easily. On the other hand, we have question number 11, a book that made you happy. And for this one, I have Strange as a Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Again, I'm so sorry I'm mentioning the same like few books or series over and over again. That's just They were just the really good ones. So anyway, yes, Strange as a Dreamer by Laini Taylor made me so ridiculously happy. And this was like right towards the beginning of COVID, where I was just like very not happy. I was like, life sucks, I want to get away from it. And then I picked up this book and it took my mind away from everything, and it was so magical and sweet and wonderful that it made me just so happy. I smiled so big while reading some parts of this, and it will just forever hold a little spot in my heart. It pulled me out of the sad COVID worries and brought me into wonderful dreamland. Oh no, I forgot it's on here again. Number 12, the most beautiful book you've bought this year. I really have not bought a lot of books this year. I basically had that haul right at the beginning of 2020, and then I bought basically I think like 2 or 3 more since then. So I don't have that many books to choose from here. But it's this one. This is the pretty book. The prettiest book. Just like, I think it's so pretty. Like, look at this beautiful art and the like pretty shiny moon. And the thing that really gets me is the inside cover. Look at how pretty that is. It's just very pretty. And this is also just very appealing to me. It's very like relaxed, nothing too crazy, but I think it's very pretty. So I'm gonna have to go with this one for my most beautiful book of the year so far. The last question number 13 is, drumroll please, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And as with every year, I have so many. There are so many books I need to read by the end of the year. But I have a few that just really, really, really need to get read by the end of the year. So I'm going to tell you about those. Number 1, we have Passenger and Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. These have been sitting on my shelf for so long. I need to get to them this year. I don't have an excuse anymore. Number 2 is Thunderhead and the Toll by Neil Shusterman. I have heard very many good things about, that was really good grammar. I've heard many good things about this trilogy. I've read Scythe, it's right there. And this one, I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I don't have an excuse, but this one and The Toll are very high on my list to read before the end of the year. And lastly is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and the other 2 books in this series. I just really need to read the Grisha trilogy. I really do. I've been saying this for years, since I bought them years ago. This is going to be the year. I'm going to read them this year. If I do not, future me, get your crap together. It was my very crazy, hectic, hyper, strange mid-year book freakout tag filled with lots of freakouts. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like this video if you did. Comment below what books you are most excited to read for the rest of 2020, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!